Hello. Hello. Oh my, we are live. Let me just disrobe for a moment. And wait for some of the people to come on to the chat before I break through and bust out some cards, because I really don't even know what I want to talk about right now. I just know that I want to talk. There's a lot that has gone down in the last 2 weeks or more, but a lot that has gone down in the last 2 weeks for myself personally, and very much in alignment with the astrology. And hi, hello. How are you guys doing? Oh, Nicole, I'm so glad you're here, because I actually want to speak about some things that may resonate with you, but over it. Yeah, we've had a lot of Chiron activity, for sure. Mercury is just stationing to go direct, which we're getting more clarity or more understanding, but it's still in this not quite moving in the direct motion yet. So we're still in this in-between phase. And yeah, so let's just start off right off the bat. Hi. With what you had mentioned to me after our session of feeling that something shifted, like, and I've had these moments too, recently, where I would just be either lying down or out in my yard and feeling like suddenly, like something is, like the earth is, like there's an earthquake or there's a shift, and then a big energetic movement going on internally. Well, after, so what day was that? That would have been Wednesday morning that I had read that message from you, and came to realize afterwards a lot of things came to me that evening. Mostly from in London. So I don't know if any of my London friends are on here yet or not. I always try to like coordinate so we can be in both timelines. But I don't know how many of you are aware of the entire, hello from Russia, hi, of the 5 horses that got spooked. The military horses, they got spooked and started running through the streets of London for a good almost 2 hours. And it's actually 2 of the horses are not doing well. I don't know if they made it or not. It was pretty graphic. But yeah, Tuesday night for you. But it would have been London time the following day. And I haven't taken the time to actually dive in, but I have all of what I'm about to talk about. I have all of the news articles saved on my phone so that I can actually go a little deeper into them. But so around that timing, something happened that spooked the animals, and it spooked what we'll start with London, because that is a big energetic point in on the earth as far as ley lines go, and some consider London to be the earth star chakra. I don't know much about that, but I know that there's major energy lines that run through London. Chelsea says it feels like something shook my apartment. Yeah, so what happened, these horses got spooked and they started running through the streets of London for a good 2 hours. And at the same time, if anybody is familiar with London, Big Ben is the big clock that is like right in the central part of London, had stopped time. 9 o'clock was where London Big Ben clock stopped, and it was still running on its regular time as far as the bell ringing. So the bell would chime every hour, and it was chiming at 11. It was chiming 11 chimes while the face still said 9. So there's 9/11. Like, we're just reading symbology here. 9/11 from Big Ben, and they went up, and that's very historical because that never happens, where they had to fix the hands of time on Big Ben while the horses are running through the city streets. And at the same time in Australia, there were, I don't know how many. It's hard to get an accurate measurement from all the articles I was reading, but it was like a couple hundred whales had beached on the beach of London, or in Australia at the same time. They were able to save 150 of them or so. So that was another event that happened at the same time. And there's more. there's more that then correlated with America, which I'm still diving into, but something going on with the college campuses and other things that are happening. So things are stirring up, but something got stirred up from within the earth that spooked the animals, because it wasn't just these horses. These horses were like symbolic for whatever was going on. There were other people that were reporting their horses just like either breaking free or spooking or acting weird, and other animals doing the same thing. Hi, yeah, crazy, isn't it? Wow. Hi, Darren. I won't cause any trouble tonight. Yeah, well, I find it to just be everything is symbology, the way that I read it. So I'm not like telling you guys this to like be afraid, but like definitely something big had turned up and was speaking to whomever was hearing or feeling it, which usually is the animals. There's so much more. Oh my gosh, there's been so much that has been everywhere I go. It's almost seems as though nature's speaking to me. Like, I can't even stay in my rational mind to like go from place to place without today alone I've had blue herons fly along my car, which is like, they're around. We have a lot of waterways around here, but they don't normally like swoop down in front of my car kind of thing. So and I haven't had a lot of crows that today just decided to come out into my woods and like, bah, 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 like speak. And I'm like, what are you saying? What are you telling me? And I feel very disconnected because I'm trying to connect to my earthly beingness, and I'm just so distracted by whatever nature and other things are trying to tell me right now. So it's a very like otherworldly experience right now. I want to see what you guys are saying here. there is no reason for fear. Fear resolves nothing. Exactly. We're always given heads up messages, warnings, and even the warnings are like, just like, be prepared, right? Be prepared for the next whatever's to come, usually from nature. Those of us who are really in tune with nature and can read that symbology. Me too, symbology is very important, and it's been happening everywhere. Yes. What is meant to happen shall happen. We just need to not be fearful and to remember to lead with love. Yes. Oh, yes, definitely. And that is definitely the messages I've been receiving. So I'm not in fear, but I am in awe. I'm like, wow, things are happening. And for me, horses speak a lot. Like, I love horses. I love whales. I love dolphins. Like, the animals that are speaking right now, like, are speaking to me big time. But I don't know exactly what the message is all the way. It is just like this big change. And we know that we have the polar shift that's happening. So our weather patterns are changing. The sun has been big time, like geomagnetic storms, and just constantly churning up things. And we're going to see a lot of things come undone and apart. There was in Denmark. I was last night when I was trying to kind of settle myself down. I turned on my TV. I don't have regular TV, so I only have like YouTube and other things. But what was on my recommended list was from Amanda Ellis. And I watched her video. I don't normally watch other people's videos like this, but she was so spot on. And she was reporting on all these things that I was already witnessing too, because the horses in London came to me literally a few hours after, Nicole, you told me something shifted. And I was like, oh, something's happening here. And she went on to report, she was receiving more reports from other things that were going on in the UK. I think Denmark had their stock exchange building catch on fire in a big way, but there was like a billboard next to it that said nothing to fear or have no fear. There's been some big, when I looked into the news today, which I don't normally do, but I was like, I gotta see what's going on in this country. There's been some fires in some key historic buildings and piers and other things that have been going on for the last day or two. Let's see, what else are you guys saying here? Yes, the animals are huge. In the coming of Christ, isn't there something about horses that is prophesized? Well, that's been, yes, especially the white horse. And that's the thing about these horses. There was a white horse and a black horse that were leading the pack. And those are the two that were injured. I don't know if they're actually going to make it or not, which is like, I hope that they do, sending out love to these horses. The white horse had blood all over it, but the black horse, it was harder to see. But the duality of the white and the black horse, right? And oh my gosh, there's been so much prophesized about the white horse alone. Beyonce just put out this album or this picture with her on a white horse after the P. Diddy thing. So there's a lot of messages that are coming through about, and I'm still trying to tap into like, what does it all mean? Because I have totally shut myself off from mainstream media and everything, but it's coming to me in dribs and drabs, and it's interesting. I know a lot has been going down in this country that I have just been tuning it off, and I need to like turn it back on just a little bit just to pick up on the symbology. Nicole says, my pup and my cat got outside last night and both ran opposite directions. That was fun trying to catch both at 10:30 at night. Oh, you're pretty, thank you. Makes me feel not so crazy, right? Me too. You are my media. Well, I've been pretty much checked out of a lot of the media intentionally. Yet I always know that whatever needs to come to me will come to me through various sources, whether it be through family. I have a big family, or friends, or other people that are like, did you hear that? My son has always been the big, like, did you hear this? Did you know this? And it's usually something that I should, like, at least peek into with the symbology of it all. So it has been a lot of things that are speaking to us in a profound way, to let us know that, yeah, these changes are happening, not to fear, but actually to just be aware, so that we're not overreactive or jump into those fear mentalities. Darren says, I've not been keeping up with the news, so I'm missing this stuff. You're not alone. Like, I don't keep up with it either, but these things, like, have just been coming to me recently. And it's, when it comes, and it's important that I at least receive the message that it brings, right? Me too. I don't watch the news on purpose. And that's because most news that we're fed, if we actually tune into it, is we all know it's intentionally meant to feed us into a certain narrative or a certain belief system and a certain fear-based belief system. So yeah, I'm not going to fall into that, but like, I do love to see the symbology of what the cosmos and what nature is actually speaking to us on. So yeah, there's been a lot of big shifts and changes for sure. And my heart, like, I have been brought to London many times in my lifetime. I feel like I've spent a lot past lifetimes in London, and it is known to be the earth star chakra of the earth. Like, we have ley lines and specific energy systems and grids on the earth that many we'll just leave it at that. So I'm just going to leave it at that for right now. I do also know there's been this big dust storm that has swept up, and that also caught my eye. Greece, I think it was coming from Africa, but in Greece, everything was orange. It was hard to see. And that was another thing that was brought to my attention. These things are just brought to my attention. I don't seek them out, but hard to see. There's a lot of prophecies that are actually, like, coming alive right now. Oh, the other one that has been brought to my attention that hasn't actually come to life yet, but is soon to happen, is the cicadas here in this country, and how they're supposed to, like, come back alive and kind of take over. So we'll see. I think that actually is predicted to be in May and start around in May, and I'm going to be down south in the Outer Banks for a week. May 10th May 10th, from May 10th to May 17th. And I think that's around when it's going to start picking up. So we'll see if that actually happens then too. But I saved all of these articles on my phone intentionally to actually dive into it a little bit deeper whenever my spidey senses actually take me there to see. But I do know all of these things in London triggered and happened all around the same time, and all around the same time that, like, you, Nicole, reach out to me, something shifted. Of course, it was nighttime here, but it was daytime over there. And it's very interesting how it all went down. So, I don't know. I don't have answers on all of that. I know that Mercury has now stationed direct. So, we're getting a little bit more clarity, a little more understanding of what the last month and a half has been designed for us to understand on our unique journey. Yet we still have a post shadow. So it's interesting when Mercury stations direct, I still find myself kind of like in this weird in between, like cognitive and feeling and understanding space. Everything seems very nebulous and sort of out there until it starts to really, like after the post shadow really moves through, because I'm very sensitive to the Mercury retrogrades. I think a lot of us are. I know you did feel it, and it was interesting because I usually always feel these things. Yet that night I got knocked out. Like, I don't even remember falling asleep. I was out early and woke up in the middle of the night with my TV on and my lights on. Like, oh my gosh, I totally went to sleep for hours and just turned everything off and went back to sleep. And that's so unusual for me because I'm usually a light sleeper. I usually like wake up and feel things. And that night I did not feel anything. So I guess I got a break. And it was your turn to feel it. Oh my. So yeah, it's let me think. What else? There's been so much in my own personal life as far as like the changes. I keep talking about all these changes that are happening. The changes that were coming into my world, because it was really hitting like my fourth house and my home and my family and all of this stuff. And I literally thought at one point I was going to be moving and was ready for whatever I was in alignment with. And it had to do with my son and my grandson and my daughter-in-law. But long story short, they bought a house. They actually just put money down on a house the other day, 2 days ago. So I was relieved that they found a space to live, a home. And even though it's far away, yeah, so the plans had continuously changed for like 2 weeks. It was like this and this and this and this and this, going here, going there, going there. And it was just so up in the air that I was just totally surrendered. Okay, what happens, happens. What I'm in alignment with. And what I got nervous about was being honest, like, and staying true to myself, because that was a big, for your children, you do anything. A lot of us will. And that's one of the things, one of my lessons was like, how much of yourself are you actually going to give away? How much of yourself are you going to sacrifice? Are you going to be honest about what your needs and wants and desires are in this life? And I stayed true to myself, but I was still open to whatever at the same time. And it was big lessons all the way around. It was a tornado. It was in and out and up and down. And I mean, we were all over the place for a good 2 weeks. I needed to take a couple days to just decompress after all that, because it turned out that nothing changed for me. Nothing changed for me. And I'm grateful. Like, okay, don't have to move. I actually love where I live, and I'm happy with where life is taking me at this point. So yeah, it's just, this is that energy from the eclipse to the full moon to the Jupiter Uranus conjunction, which I also have been gifted some really amazing, beautiful gifts, and people from the past have come up as well to gift me with things. So it's been a whirlwind of energy for me personally in the last couple of weeks. Let's see what you guys are laughing. What are post shadows? Joking. That still trips me out that it wasn't just in my head messing with me. Yeah, I know. I'm happy for them too, that they finally found a place to settle, because that is a big deal, at least in this country right now. There is it is difficult for people to find a place to live. It's a housing crisis. The money, it's such a racket. It's ridiculous. At least in the area that we live in, even to rent. I mean, we own this place, thankfully, but it's astronomical, ridiculous prices and food and all of that. And I don't like to go into all that, but it is a struggle for everybody. And so I was just relieved that they found a place that they really like, and that it all worked out. It all worked out somehow. Stressful situations surviving these days. Rent is astronomical. I know. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I know in my heart of hearts that eventually it's going to change, but I mean, things have to get to their all-time worst before they get better. That's just how I've always seen life. It gets to its worst before it gets better. It's a joke here too for rent, etc. Good to hear. Yeah, it's tough. It's very tough. And it leaves us, and that's a challenge for all of us who are on the journey of staying conscious, right? And evolving and elevating, because our basic needs, our basic survival needs, I mean, that's what keeps us being ungrounded and not able to focus on what's important, because all of our focus and energy is basically on just surviving and making ends meet and getting food and making sure we have a home and just those basic needs met. And it's definitely something that has been written. It's definitely an agenda for sure, and I for one am not going to let it take me down, because I also know that when I surrender and I stop thinking the worst case scenario or possibility in my head, things always work. They have always worked out. I can't even explain why or how, but they just do. My needs are always met, and I don't have I live very minimalistic, I guess you could say. But at the same time, when I have this desire to travel, suddenly I'm going somewhere and it doesn't cost me anything. It's very interesting how the universe will work with us even through these experiences. What else did I want to say about that? Oh, the Jupiter Uranus conjunction. So going back to how the past has been coming back to me, especially in the past week or two, not just a memory of ex-husband and all of the people and things that I had moved beyond, yet there was still probably leftover residual stuff. And I really worked through a lot of my own personal guilt and shame and pain and blame and all of that. And after I found, the day after my son and daughter-in-law had bought the house that they're going to move into, I got a phone call from somebody I know from a long time ago, that like it was a mutual friend between my ex-husband and I, but also a friend of my brother-in-law, my sister. So like it's somebody that's kind of neutral, who owns a real estate company and also is a builder, and contacted me, sent me this picture of all of these Tibetan singing bowls, like a bunch of them, and just said, I'm working with the executor of this estate and we came across all of this stuff, and I don't know what this is, but I thought of you and I think that these need to go to you. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I will take them. And so they're gifting all of these Tibetan singing bowls to me. And then just the other day reached back out to me and said, is it okay if the executor of the estate, who lives in Virginia, but she's really, really nice, if she could reach out to you to talk to you? She's really glad that these singing bowls are going to like a good home, a good place. But there's more. I think she has more. And I was like, absolutely, she can reach out to me. And so when I asked what her name was, and he told me her last name is the same last name that I used to have in my ex-marriage. So it was like all of my past was like coming back around in this new way of like saying, like, we're going to gift this to you. Like, you've made it through, like you've forgiven, you've moved through. Here we have these gifts. And I mean, it's just like, I can't even tell you the incredible, like, you can't make this stuff up. It just like came out of nowhere too. And to boot, in the beginning of my awakening journey, that was the very beginning. That's what I started with my healing, was sound frequency, because I was very sensitive, and the only thing that helped ground me and helped me kind of get my shit together was sound frequency. So I have 2 singing bowls here. I bought tuning forks. I learned about binaural beats and all these other things. So like, we're talking like years and years and years later, and this is coming all the way back around. I'm like, I guess I need to learn more about sound frequency healing. Like, this might be part of my path going forward if I'm to receive all of these tools all of a sudden. I mean, this is a gift from the universe, right? It's amazing. Let's see what you guys are saying. Love the story. Amazing. Love singing bowls so much. I do too. That's amazing how the universe does this. I know, isn't it? The boulevard of broken dreams blocked of are there side roads to get us on the right track. Not sure if I understand that question. Is the boulevard of broken dreams blocked? Or are there side roads to get us on the right track? Well, there's always a way to get back on the right track. And it really is, it has to do with our own perception, perspective, and the way that we are dialoguing in the way we are, the give and take with life, with the universe. You get what you give. So you're always being read energetically with what's going on in here. And whenever certain energetic transits come along, it's either going to read your pain or it's going to read your dreams. It's going to read a little bit of all of it. So we go in and out of all kinds of different experiences. But ultimately, when you get to know yourself all the way in and out, and you're really honest and truthful with yourself, you can navigate life very easily through that lens of understanding of, okay, you're showing me my pain now. You're showing me my insecurities. You're showing me my doubt. You're showing me my dreams, my wishes. I forgot about the singing bowls. I literally forgot about the singing bowls, but that was a dream of mine at one point in time. So like these things come back around and show us and remind us. It's a rhetorical question. I see you have found the right track. And I like that. It's contagious. Good. Yeah, it really is. It's an interactive experience that we have with life and with the universe. And you can tell, like, when you're having a day where you're doubting everything or you're angry with everyone or everything, like, you're going to kind of receive what you're putting out there. And it also depends on the energetic transits that are happening, because some days are harder to navigate than others for sure. But again, going back to just knowing yourself, knowing all of yourself, all the hidden cracks and crevices, all the different parts, all the personalities, everything that's going on in here, because it's an interactive play. It's an interactive experience that we have with life. Let's see. Yes, they listen to your conversation and what you're looking at, etc., so they know if you're in a shit mood or not. I want to sprout, not doubt. That's right. That's right. So once you're conscious, once you're awake and aware, it's really hard to go back into where we had been unconscious. And I know that's usually a dream for many of us. It's like, let me just go back into my comfort zone where everybody else is. But if you try, you just can't. You're not going to, you've seen too much, you know too much. So the journey then is to keep going and get to know actually all of you, because it's an interactive play, you with you. Like, the universe wants to show you your karma and your dharma. So we incarnate here to complete and clear our karmic story, our family's karma, our own karma. At the same time, we're living out what our dharma is, because once we get to understand our true nature and we live our true nature, that is our dharma. So we start to receive the fulfillment and understanding of why we're truly here. And it is a beautiful experience, but there's so much in between all of that. So much in between all of that. Your energy is crossing the form to the Emerald Isle. Greetings from Ireland. Greetings from Ireland. We have more Ireland people. Greetings. So let's get a reading on this energy. And the birds outside, I know the sun's going down here, but the birds outside have been very active lately. Jupiter and Uranus are right on top of my natal Chiron currently. Ooh. I want to say me too, but it's not. More of my natal Saturn. They were on my natal Chiron. And I get that. So we also have had a lot of Chiron activity, which Chiron is specifically about us addressing, understanding our core wounds of what we were incarnated in here, our karma, to actually live through and work through and transmute and move out of, if possible. Yet it's difficult because those wounds never go away. They don't. So, we always think, I want to heal, I just want it to be gone. It's never going to be gone. It's always going to stay. But the more time that you spend understanding and healing and forgiving, when it's time, it's all organic, it's all natural. These core wounds, the more that you actually have a deeper, I want to say, not just understanding, but the more compassion we have for others as well as ourselves. And there's a lot of wisdom that is to be gained and carried with these deep wounds that we have incarnated into to work through and work out of, so that we can actually move into our dharma from karma, if that makes sense. How is it even possible for someone to not know themselves? I have never had that. I was born awake. Well, yeah, many, 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 many of us were born awake. But depending on where you grew up, what part of the world that you grew up in, there's been social conditioning, family conditioning, belief systems, and those things, as well as very deep-seated traumas and wounds that have twisted and, molded and shaped us into thinking we know who we are, or identified with a specific characteristic or belief about who we are. And when you can break free from being identified as whatever it is that you've been attached to identifying as, a mother, a sister, a brother, a daughter, a nurse, a doctor, whatever you identify, your name and this and that, and you get to a soul self, when you can strip all of those layers away and you just get to the complete and utter soul essence of the self, which takes a lot for most people to actually get to. It takes a lot of effort and work and patience, and really wanting to, you get a taste of it when you have the beginning of your awakening, your soul essence, and that alone can be very, it'll pull you. It will pull you into understanding more. Again, when you're awakened out of identifying with who you thought you were, who you were told you were, and what everything, is, as far as how it's described to you, and how you can actually see so much more. There's still a lot more of the journey from that point on, and you can't really go back. You could try to go back. You can try to go back to sleep, and sometimes we do. That's the other part about the awakening journey, is we awaken and we release certain things, and we think that we are enlightened and awakened, and I know and I'm aware, but we get comfortable in a certain state, and we kind of fall back asleep in that state until another cycle comes around and wakens us up again to more. So it's always a journey. That's what life is all about. It's always a journey of self-discovery, self-understanding, and not just self-discovery and self-understanding, but so much more, so much more. Let's see here. I know myself, it's others I have trouble with. Well, if you have trouble with others, then you have trouble with yourself, because anybody else in your life is and I know this is difficult. I know it's triggering, but they are, when you can get to the state where you can see yourself in everyone, that is pure enlightenment. When you can understand the mirror reflections of others, even if they are small, minute areas, that is enlightenment. We are all connected. We have so many fragments and fractals and parts. We are all connected to each other as the whole. And when you have trouble with somebody else, that means you have trouble with coming to terms with that within yourself, to some degree. And it would take a personal one-to-one to actually dive into that to help you see that. But I think the universe would also help you see that as well. Nicole says, many were born awake, but our outside circumstances filled us with doubt. Yes. Yeah. So we kind of lie dormant, like feeling like we don't fit in. And the black sheep. Yep. When I was little, no one believed me that there were spirits in our home. No one wanted to hear about my dreams. I would get intuitive hits and was told I was paranoid, so I turned myself away from myself. Yeah, I had the same experience. Every time I would try to point out the truth and like the intense truths, it was just like, you're over dramatizing, or like, yeah, it was always something that was like, nah, just always pushing it away. And yeah, you turn it off. You turned it off for a while. And hi, Lizzie. You turn it off for a while until the universe turns it back on to you, and it's like, oh, this is actually, like, I can't deny what I see. I can't deny what I'm experiencing. And I had to turn it back on, like, back on to my mother, who was like the one, she's like the spiritual influence in my life. And I would always, like, when I was younger, turn away from all the things that I had to say. I see it now. I understand the whole process, but I was mad for a long time. I was mad at her for that. Like, why couldn't you just see? I get it now. She couldn't see. She just, I mean, it's the cosmic joke. Let's just put it that way. There is a cosmic joke. So we have to be a little more lighthearted and have a sense of humor. And I know that a lot of our experiences that we had in the past are nothing to laugh at, but we get to a point of like, all right, I need to let this stuff go, because there is definitely more of a lightheartedness to the actual dance that we have between life, when you finally let go of the need to be right and be in control and blah 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 blah, and they did this and they did that and all these other things. When we can just drop all that stuff and actually have like a beautiful dance and rhythm with life, and let it show us where we need to be, what we need to see, what we need to know, and that it's okay. We don't need to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. We don't need to like have the perfect diet or have the perfect process or meditation routine or anything. Just get to know your own natural flow, what feels right for you, what feels right, and what is speaking to you. What is, like, where do you feel in flow? We're not always going to feel in flow, but where do you feel in flow? Where do you feel comfortable? That is important. Yes, I agree. Let go. For me, it's all about control and fully accepting the fact that you can only control yourself. Yes. Finding forgiveness brings great peace. It sure does. All right. Bear with me here. Okay. Sorry, I had to put Jesus in timeout. um, Not that I don't love Jesus. I do have a very strong connection to Jesus. But I could see where that one was coming from. I agree. Everyone has their own journey. Yes, everyone has their own answers. Even when they feel like they don't, the answers will come when you're ready. Exactly. Exactly. So don't it's futile to beat ourselves up and like, why am I not more evolved? Why are things like, if we can just kind of chill out a little bit more and learn to like go with the flow. And I know that's easier said than done at times too, but I think we're coming into a really nice energy, especially through May. Now that the sun is in Taurus, we don't have so much of this Aries energy and this this need to dominate and move and be in control. I feel like we're going to be a lot more grounded and more in tune with, like, Taurus is ruled by Venus. What is it that speaks to our heart and our desires and, our style of living, our what's comfortable for us. The thing I had the hardest time with is not understanding other people's behaviors. I had the same issue a while back until I understood there's a few different ways of understanding other people's behaviors, because it's not always a direct reflection or mirror to us. Sometimes we hold certain energy that really triggers other people and brings out their shadow side or their dark side or the parts of them that they're not comfortable with, and then they start acting really strange and weird. I mean, I have this effect on people. It's just that I know I trigger an awakening or something, like whatever somebody is in denial about within themselves, that and I don't have to say anything, but my energy just brings it out, and like they start blurting out things and saying things and doing all kinds of erratic behaviors. Not everybody, but definitely have had that effect. On the flip side, also, when I'm in a group setting and when I am in my highest, just in my highest heart, my heart energy, I also know that energy is extremely healing. And I've had many people say, after meeting with you or just being around you, I've had these awakenings. I've had these realizations, these revelations without me saying anything. So know that our energy has an effect on each other. We do affect each other. And, you don't know what another person's going through. You don't know what they've been suppressing or denying or running or hiding from. And you might be awakening something up in them that their protector or ego protector is like, no, no, we're not going there. And so they act kind of crazy. I hope that kind of helps answer some of that. But also would never want to be able to hear their thoughts, so I probably don't really want to be. I don't agree with some people's behaviors, but I have to remember that some don't understand mine. Exactly. We're just different. It gets so frustrating, I know, especially with family. Patience and honesty. Yeah. What's my sun sign? My sun sign is Scorpio. I don't know why I'm shuffling these cards, I don't think that we're going with these cards, actually. Now that I'm being called to a different deck here. But yeah, as you continue, I have been listening to a lot of Ram Dass lately. My mother was a big, like, she quoted Ram Dass for a good half of my life. And for some reason, he's been coming back around in my radar lately. And I really resonate, not just with his words, but his voice and his experiences. And it's so comforting to, and I mean, he's been passed on, but it brings me back to a time where things were more simplistic in my life, where it was more like the 70s, and like after the 60s revolution, and LSD and all of these, like the consciousness, the awareness that was starting to really peak, and all of his stories. And I don't know, for whatever reason, lately I've just been called to listen to his stories more and more, and they really, really resonate with me. And it helps me keep my perspective in check whenever I am thrown off course or thrown into situations or old patterns. I can see them so in such a different, it's a reminder of how far I've come. And like, don't forget your perspective. Don't forget, we can fall back into old mindsets, but eventually we break free from that again. It's just like this back and forth that we do until we finally don't do that anymore. It's just, it takes time, you know. I always get along great with Scorpios. Pisces. Oh, hi, Sarah. How was the full moon for you? I have Scorpio, Mars, Saturn, and Pluto. And my chart ruler in my 8th. I love Scorpio energy. It was fine for me. I mean, well, I say fine. There was a lot of chaos going on in my world at that time. Not necessarily with me. I was more the witness of the chaotic energy that was, and I had to be brought into that, meaning like I had to go to the bank and sign through loans, and I had to be brought to look at different houses, like I might be moving, and like it was a lot of different things, and I was just kind of like riding it outside of it. Like I knew none of it was going to actually be true or happen for me, but I was like, all right, go along with it. So it was interesting. It could have been intense if I would have had a story or a belief in my mind that like something was going to be infiltrating my life or taking me in another course, but I was just curious. I stayed very neutral, and I find that riding life in that way more with curiosity than like, oh my God, this is like, than trying to control it or trying to have some kind of narrative or story from the past is always the best course of action for me. It's probably the best course of action for all of us, but I know that I know where my brain will go, and it can go to all kinds of places, and I'm very, very well aware of that. And I was very proud that even though I saw the thoughts try to go there, I didn't latch on or grasp or believe them, and they just rode out. And I'm like, okay, so the things that I have been teaching and talking about, actually I'm also experiencing at the same time. And so yeah, it was intense. There was a lot of change, a lot of things happening, but all in all, I see it all for a positive. Let's see. Aquarius, rising Cancer. That Scorpio full moon stirred me up bad, but now I'm amazing once I understood what I had to let go of. And that's the thing. We were all shown we had to let go of something big time. Big time. And we were replaying old patterns and old history, hard stuff too, and facing our fears. Darren says, I've really overcome old patterns over the last year. I really worked on my shadow, lived it out like a fucking champion. Yes, heck yeah, Darren. Pisces here as well, Sarah. Awesome. Hey, fellow Pisces, we tend to be into seeking the truth. Yes. Cheers to letting go of old patterns. I know. Isn't it wonderful when you can actually witness yourself like, that did not affect me like it used to. I'm actually really proud that like I actually didn't even have to restrain myself. It was easier to ride through. Yes, exactly. So yeah, it was, I want to say, intense, because it was like energy that picked you up and carried you somewhere, but at the same time it was very enlightening. And if anything, for me, I felt like I really had moved to a new stage in my journey and my evolutionary journey, you know. You guys gotta watch this man named William Donahue. It will change whoever watches. It's life guaranteed. Interesting. Do you have a cup? So we're gonna get a collective reading here. Thank you. See what wants to come through for us all. Interesting. I'm gonna pull this out because it did want to movement, choices, decisions. Things are moving. Things are changing. We have important decisions and choices to make. Whether we're at that stage right now or we're just aware that like, yeah, I'm going to have to make a choice or decision very soon. Thank you. And it's welcome. I feel like the change is welcome, especially for most of us who have maybe been in stagnancy for a while, or trapped in fear, which still equates to stagnancy of being stuck in an old version, an old paradigm, an old pattern, and afraid to actually break free. That's so interesting, these comments. Okay, I want to stay on the reading here. Okay. Oh. Okay. Okay. So it's very interesting because the overall message here is discontent and boredom. And I feel like a lot of us have been in that state, that energy that we can actually admit to now, where we've gone through a lot of the healing and a lot of the trauma, like released ourselves from trauma bonding, released ourselves from old patterns, and have this enlightenment and this awareness and see the truth. And at the same time, it's like, okay, so here I am now. Now what? And it seems very like restless because we feel like we've got to like not only make a change for ourselves, but like for the world. Because if you look at the world stage, it's like, it's so much. What do I do? But if I just stay in my own comfort zone, it's very boring. Or if I stay in my own mundane repetitive stuff. It's boring. This is discontent and boredom. And I'm hearing divine discontent, which is a Pluto energy of the 12th house. So it's very interesting. So restless, yes, and bored out of my damn mind. Yeah, because we know the possibilities, or that there are infinite possibilities. At the same time, we're also, Saturn's like, not yet. Not yet. Not quite yet. But it is time that we have, there is some movement, or we've had maybe some tests, some challenges, as far as like, where are you going to move? What choices and decisions are you going to make? Are you making them from the old way? Are you making them because, are you making these choices and decisions because you, out of fear? And it's important. It's important to know yourself and understand what energy is backing your choices and decisions that you make. Also, we have triumph with temptation. So many of us may have been tempted back into old ways, old patterns, old habits, old addictions, old narratives, the old story, the old behaviors, right? I don't know, I want to get a little bit more on that. I feel like there's still been some temptations. It's been really hard to like not fall back into old patterns. Okay, here we go again with the fear. When it comes to, for many of us, to actually make a move towards something different, make a move in a new direction. Here we go with the fear, the anxiety, the sleepless nights, the restless nights. Do I trust myself? Do I trust my decisions? Oh, and there's so much energy that is backing us making a move. There's fireworks going off. And this reminds me of those horses that got spooked in London. And nobody knows exactly what spooked them. Some believe that it was something that came up from the earth, because animals sense this energy before we do. So many may be feeling, before it's even time to actually make a move or make a choice, that something's coming. Something is coming. And it's going to require a lot of change. And here we are, still stuck in this cage, trapped in fear. Sorry. Yeah, we're not taking shit anymore. Okay. There's even new insight, new communication, new energy, or just that fiery Aries energy that's like, come on. We can't keep staying in the same old, and here's this trapped in fear. So there's that paradox, right? There's that push-pull energy that we've been experiencing. And this is human behavior. This is a human pattern. This is normal. I mean, we call it normal. But we can break free. We can break out of this paradigm. And I see okay. Oh, lovely. Tell me about temptation. Oh, tell me about temptation. This is funny. Give me more. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. So there's been a lot of excitement, right? That's backing up this great change that's either actually happening in our lives or it's coming up and we're feeling it, we're witnessing it, we're recognizing, like, I've got to move directions. Like, if I actually want to keep riding out this feeling of feeling alive, I've got to get out of this sensation of feeling trapped in fear. We have triumph with the two of emotions. So it's letting love actually be the guiding force, which is very interesting. And when I asked for clarity on two of emotions, I got the Page of Inspiration with the Knight of Materials below temptation, which, so, okay. The Page of Inspiration in this deck speaks of really tapping into your intuition and really just getting into your unique flow, your unique energy, and dancing to the beat of your own drum. Look at all that color. Look at the black cat that's got radiating energy from it, like it's channeling energy. She's just in her flow. It's like letting your freak flag fly. This is who I am. I don't care what you think of me. Energy, attitude in a beautiful way, like not in a mean way. So it's like triumphing over, like, not really caring about other people's opinions so much. Yet the temptation here is to slow everything down. It's going too fast. It's going too fast, and I need to slow it down. I need to I don't want to make a fool of myself. I don't want to make the wrong decision or the wrong choice. Knight of Materials. Which, can I get, all right, we're going to get one more on that. Overall, we have the Six of Voices, though, that speaks of having guidance. This guidance of the higher self, of your guides, of your angels, of who is actually showing you where you've been, all the parts that you've played, all the beliefs that you've had about who you are and what you're doing here. And then asking you, do you want to believe any of that? Or do you want to have a clean slate? Like, can we start something new? Don't you want to actually understand why you're here and what your purpose and your mission is? Let's clear this karma. Let's move beyond all this stuff. Darren says, I don't even know whether it's trapped in fear. It's more like, for me, that I'm not really sure what I'm expected to do. I tried pretty much everything at this point. I don't think that we have, there's nothing expected of us. What's expected of us is to actually drop into ourselves. get to know ourselves and what is it that we feel we are meant to do next. Trusting ourselves, trusting our inner navigation and our higher self, our higher guides. Because there's an underlying fire that's fueling this momentum. Let's get one more spread here. So much work. So, yeah. Oh my. Okay. We're gonna. It's being spelled out right here. Anything else? Thanks. Okay, I understand. Okay, so while things are, we know that there's momentum, life is always moving, it's not really stuck in time or place. Sometimes we slow it down because we have anxiety or fear, or we're not sure, we don't know, we don't trust ourselves, we don't trust our higher selves. But overall, what I'm seeing here also is that as much as we've dedicated our time and our energy towards bettering ourselves, we still find ourselves up against something, having to uphold strong boundaries and having to fend off certain energies that maybe we feel are like trying to take us down. Either that or we've been really just overdoing it and carrying such a heavy load that we're not even fully aware of how heavy a burden some of these things have been. A lot of that has been the trapped in fear. The guilt, shame. Shame has been something that has kept coming up for me in the last couple years that I've had to really confront and face head on. And it's not always there, but when it shows up, it's dense, it's heavy, and it pulls me somewhere. And that's just an example of how certain old energies can really take us some places and really keep us held hostage or feel like we've got to shield ourselves or protect ourselves from other people and other energies, when really, if we just take the time to understand a little bit more about ourselves and our journey, if we take time to meditate and tap into the depths of ourselves, of the story of our lives and what has unfolded, what we've gone through, what we've experienced, and the message, the symbology of it all, the Akashic records that each and every one of us carry with us in our very bones and cells of our DNA, will then arise and communicate to us and give us a whole new picture. We got to believe that, though. We've got to trust that. We've got to trust that we actually have incarnated into this lifetime with something to give. Once we work through the karma, we actually have a lot to give. But we can't give when we're not giving ourselves, giving to ourselves first. Overall, though, what I'm seeing here is that we have Six of Wands that fell right below Victory. When it comes to learning how to love the self, learning to have compassion and empathy, and trusting the magic, the beauty, the intuition, the otherworldliness of ourselves. I've had to overcome a lot. And like play out the same old story over and over and over again in our lifetime until it's like finally like it's dead. That story is old. I'm over it. I know there's more to me than that old story. Overall, we have, or not overall, but lastly, we have the Queen of Wands, which is really interesting with the Knight of Materials and temptation. So the temptation right now, for many of us, let me just sit with this for a minute. Because there is wisdom. There is intuitive senses. I think it is because we still have these deep-seated desires and wants that are pulling us. We're faced with others that have what we've desired to have. So, like, this is one thing I love about Ram Dass. Like, he was talking about how you perceive yourself. And say that you think that you have, like, a funny-looking nose. This is how you perceive yourself. I have this funny nose. And you just can't get over it. You can't get past it. All you see when you look outside of yourself to other people are these perfect noses. You're comparing your nose to other people's noses. Like, that is like the honing in of like consciousness that we're shown. We're always shown what we can't actually come to terms with and love within ourselves. We are shown through others and through life. Like, it's interesting. And when you can understand that paradox, you can learn to love your nose, learn to love all of you. So when we have certain desires, things that we want, when that has not happened for us yet, all we see is exactly what we want. Say we want like a relationship and we haven't been in one. All we see is like these happy couples walking around with their hand, holding hands and loving each other like all the time. It's universe, it's life showing you like you've got to get over this. Love yourself. And it, like when you're so fixated and you cannot get past your desires and think that they're never going to come true, that's all you're going to be faced with, is to see in the cosmic mirror what you've desired, what keeps tempting you into this state of being of almost like temper tantrum, but not quite. It's just like, I'm over it. I give up. Nothing ever good happens for me. Nothing ever happens for me. This is what leads us into that in and out, juggling between the two energies of I accept life, I love myself, to I want what I want and it's not happening and I'm not satisfied. And it's this back and forth dance that we have. See what you guys are saying. I'm notorious for the comparing. Yeah, we all are. Hi. I came with fantastic news. Convert to Islam. It's the true religion. Hi. Sorry. Self-love. Oops. Self-love and self-care must become a habit. You must discipline yourself every day to develop the habit. Yes. Hi, Dustin. I actually made a mental note earlier of how many couples holding hands. You are always on point. Isn't that interesting, though? It is so. But when you can actually understand that about the cosmic mirror, you don't take it so personally. Then you're like, oh, I'm too. It's a reminder of what we're too fixated on. And it's not that it's not going to come true, but we have these deep-seated desires, or we want something of our physicality or of our life to change so much that we cannot be content and happy and grateful and at peace with what is. Life's going to show you that. It's going to show you what is not in alignment right now, what's not happy internally. And it's always linked to some past pain, something that we are working through, and it's not always easy, but we can move beyond that when we understand that, like, life is actually not against us. It's trying to say, hey, focus, focus, focus. This can happen for you when you get out of this energy of like, it's never gonna happen for me, everybody else has it but I don't have it. Whether it be your nose or your couples or any of that stuff. And the intensity level just depends on where each and every one of us are at in our deepest desires and dreams. I will also tell you that our deepest desires and dreams are also linked to our deepest, darkest fears that we must come to terms with and face those as well. So that's definitely another big realization that I came across not too long ago. I was like, wow, that is so true. That's so wild. So yeah, let's get one last message for us all, because I know that I've been on here for a little while now. But I'm so glad that you guys are all on here. Thank you for participating and joining, commenting, and all that good stuff. Good to see you, Dustin. Let's see. What do we want to read from? I feel like it's been a while since I read from the Oracle of the Seven Energies. So we're going to bust this out. And I am going to start recirculating my cards. I know I have other decks in my office that I haven't brought out in a while. They just haven't called to me, but I feel like it's almost time to start changing them up. Oh, thank you for spending time with us. Your intention to help others feel a little bit more comfortable in their skin is gorgeous. Oh, thank you. Well, we all deserve to feel comfortable in our skin. And it's usually like, when I feel like I can do that is when I just broke free from like not feeling, because it has not been a comfortable couple of weeks for me at all, but it has been enlightening for sure to see how uncomfortable I can actually get, and why certain events and certain people and certain scenarios really take me out of my comfort zone, and like what that does for me. And that's what we've been doing, is facing our fears, being ripped out of our comfort zone. Lots of changes. Hello, Indigo Blue. Welcome. Nicole says, I asked the universe to help me be more healthy, and before I knew it, my health issues became more pronounced. I think this is the universe saying it can't do all the work. You also have to do yours. Yeah, sometimes. Oh, and yeah, that's always a big fear of mine too, because there are times where I can be so like out of my body that I neglect what's going on in my body. And then then I'm like, yeah, I see that coming. But yeah, so I'm like totally understand that big fear of mine, because I've had that happen to me over and over again in my lifetime. But once I like realize like, oh yeah, I need to put my focus on my health and my body, it really turns around pretty quickly. That's sort of like the universe's little knock on your door, like, hey, you want to pay attention to the vessel that you're in right now? Because this is the vehicle that you're going to ride out this lifetime in. So we want to make sure that it's, you know, did you get your oil changed? You know what I mean? Like, I've had all these car issues lately, and I'm like, oh, maybe we ought to look at the actual vehicle that we are riding life out in as well. Darren says, lots of changes, heartless scumbags want to take you down. Only if you let them, I suppose. Only if you let them. Only if you let them. All right. So let's get one final message for us all. I didn't even think I was going to go live tonight. Oh, okay. All right, we got two. All right, so we'll take them both. So the first one we got is broken open. Broken open. I can feel that one for sure. And then the other one is great and full. So there's kind of a duality there. But we have to get broken open a lot of times before we can actually be humbled. Like, we do get humbled by the universe a lot of times. There are situations in life when you see the value of loss, grief, and a broken heart. Yet it's not the pain or loss itself that must be the focus of your attention here. No, not even the story of what happened. The details surrounding what has brought you to your knees is as important as what results from the experience. Can you see that this situation has broken you wide open, enabling you to have an even greater capacity for love, compassion, empathy, and understanding? You cannot be the same person as before. The only way forward is to move through it without resistance or manipulation, without attempting to bargain with unseen forces, because none of your usual fallbacks can put you back together again. If you do fall prey to self-absorption or self-pity, it will just make it harder to get to the next gradual phase leading to relief. Yet, even if you are prolonging the inevitable, you will get there eventually. The gift is in accepting who you've become as a consequence of integrating this difficult experience and allowing yourself to be more than you were. This wisdom comes at a high price, but the value of your experience of moving through and to the other side is unsurpassed. Love the you that is the result of being broken open by life's challenges and lessons. That's a great one. Love the you that is the result of being broken open by life's challenges and lessons. Because we get to see the organic, authentic us when we are broken open. Our ego, our protector, our managers, our the judge and jury, and all of the things that reside within us. Lots of different ways. Indigo Blue, I'm nervous and excited to be here with you right now. Oh, well, welcome. No need to be nervous. Scott says, thank you. Somehow, every time I watch, I get something that helps me. Much gratitude. Oh, thank you, Scott. Just came in just at the right time. Man, Serenity lives. All right, so let's read the last card to wrap this reading up for us all, which is Great and Full. Great and Full. Before you can begin to understand the process of manifesting your desires, you need to practice deep gratitude and the willingness to share that with others. This is the true nature of prosperity. It's not about the things you accumulate at all. It's about how you feel. You're invited to surrender to an important truth. There is always enough for you. There is enough time to do the things you need and desire to do, enough opportunities to express your talents and connect to your purpose, and enough magic circulating through the invisible world into the visible world. Begin your day immersed in gratitude for everything you have and everything you can't yet see, the unmanifest, which begins with every breath you take. Know that you are enough and all your needs are being fulfilled, even if you doubt this in some moments. No one's success can make you feel small, and comparing yourself to others never works. Your life is brimming with unique potential. Focus on that. When you hold this feeling of gratitude, it acts as a magical open sesame to the floodgates of abundance. Couple that with playful sense of detachment, and you'll find that miracles have an uncanny way of showing up in your life. Your intentions burst forth into reality with little effort on your part. There is hope brimming with possibility. It's okay that you don't always trust this. You are not alone in holding the candle high for transformation. Right now, contemplate on being in the energy of enough makes you feel, being in the energy of enough makes you feel. Contemplate on how being in the energy of enough makes you feel. Eventually, you will have no attachment to what you do or do not manifest in the world, what you do or do not have. Then, like magic, you have more than enough. What a fascinating universe we live in. And that is the operative. Actually, this is just came very strongly to me that when we stay attached or fixated on what we do not have, or when we have no attachments to what we have or what we don't have, that's when the magic appears. We are so programmed and conditioned, and it is part of our survival. It goes back. There's many layers that are tied to this, but it's almost impossible to not have some kind of attachment or fixation to what we do or do not have. Yet this is actually what we are working through to let go of. And that is hard. That is very difficult for us to navigate through as beings who are just trying to survive on the planet. But that takes trust. It takes faith. And it takes time to get to that level. So understand like what the cosmic mirror is showing us each time. It's like, all right, I see universe, You're showing me what I don't have, and you're showing me that I'm attached to the fact that I still don't have that. Or you're showing me what I do have, and I'm afraid that it's going to go away, or I'm afraid to let go. Like, that's been my last 2 weeks of like what I did have was going to go away kind of thing. And I just had to be like, I surrender. I surrender. And it just was a puppet play show. All of it. None of it came true. And it seemed very, very real and intense. But I knew, there was a higher power in me that just knew that just witness, just be, just watch, and see the old you versus you now, how the old me would have tried to cling, attach, control, do something to hold on to what I had in fear of it going away. It's very interesting, and it's profound. It's a profound spiritual lesson for us all, for sure. So that's what I got for us all. But I don't know. We don't see Martin tonight. Where is Martin? Let's bring the whole gang in. I know. Won't be long till I know who you are. Learn to let go of what we fear to lose. Yes. Hello, lovely. And that's a hard one. I mean, it's easy for the ego to say, I can let go. But when you're faced with actually having to let go of certain things that you didn't realize how deeply, closely attached you were to them, that's a challenge. And when you can actually release the need to control, watch the universe throw all this chaos in your world and fear and all of this stuff. And then it just all be like, oh, never mind. Gotcha. Just a test. It's been so crazy. Oh, I'm glad it resonated, Nicole. Certainly resonated for me. So that's what I have for us all. I'm so glad. Thank you all for joining on this Friday night. Well, it's Friday night where I am. And I try not to miss the Friday night live. So I'm glad that we all made it tonight too. We'll have to rewind to some on the tail end. Yes, definitely. We're about to wrap it up. So I just here to give all my gratitude. Thank you all for being here and participating and all of your love and support. I feel it, and I'm sending it back to you guys as well. We're all in this together. So let's just keep on keeping on. I don't know why that just came up, but it's true. Let's just keep on keeping on and stay in check. And definitely I will check in as often as I can as well. So much love to you all. I love you guys. And we are not alone on this journey. It is a trippy ride. I saw that from somebody. It can be. So let's stay in connection. Let's stay in alignment, in flow, and good things to come. I feel an amazing May coming up for all of us. So I can't wait to continue to report on the energy that is unfolding for us all. So much love to you guys. Thank you all. Have a great night or a great day wherever you are. We'll be back soon. Take care. Bye.